The waiter merely glanced over, but unexpectedly, it brought about a deadly disaster for him. In fact, the waiter was an undercover CA agent, while the bald man was an arms dealer. Living on the edge had long sharpened his keen observational skills. So, seeing the woman for the second time in a different hotel within a month, the bald man immediately sensed something was off. Moreover, today was the day he was supposed to make a deal with a big client, so the outcome for the other party was predictable. The bald man knew he was definitely surrounded, so he immediately called his boss, White Wolf, to cancel the deal. Then he dispatched his men to prepare for a violent breakout. The sudden turn of events caught the CA agents off guard. Moreover, the assailants had very powerful firepower, and in no time they were overwhelmed. At this moment, Ethan, who was ambushed outside, decisively chose to strike. Soon, the gunmen outside the hotel were successfully taken down. Immediately after, he charged into the lobby. However, just then, the bald man pressed the remote control. In an instant, Ethan was thrown to the ground. The intense blast wave also left him dizzy. However, he quickly realized his colleagues were being shot one by one. Ethan immediately realized the enemy was on the balcony, so he struggled to stand up. Soon, he spotted the positions of the bald man and his group through the shadows on the ground. Seeing this, he fired without hesitation. Sure enough, a few seconds later, someone fell from above, but immediately, bullets were fired back at him. Thus, both sides began shooting at each other through the floor. Soon, 2 more assailants were shot dead. Subsequently, the bald man suddenly jumped onto the car roof. At this point, Ethan's gun was out of bullets, but he quickly picked up a gun from the ground. Then they exchanged fire again until their magazines were empty. Seeing the bald man fleeing with a suitcase, Ethan hurriedly followed. Not long after, both were exhausted. Finally, with Ethan firing a warning shot, the bald man stopped. But just then, he suddenly felt dizzy and immediately collapsed to the ground. Seeing an opportunity, the bald man attempted a sneak attack. However, this top agent, relying on his last bit of consciousness, decisively fired his gun. But then, he also passed out. Meanwhile, the bald man took the chance to limp away. However, when Ethan woke up, he suddenly discovered something terrifying. He was diagnosed with late-stage brain cancer, with only 3 months left to live. Even more unexpectedly, the organization's leadership told Ethan that without any evidence of consciousness, the top agent who had worked diligently for over 30 years was abandoned just like that. But things were far from over.